Today we have one goal and we have one mission, and that is to get that installed. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another beautiful day here in the shop. If we can get our 2-post lift installed, hopefully this morning, that'll give us plenty of time to work on other shenanigans. Man, coming into the shop now with the new 4-post lift setup, this is so cool. It's such a beautiful sight. Let's get some cars moved around. This 2-post is gonna sit right where the NSX is at. This thing is much needed for all the work that we do, especially when we're building cars like this, where the motor and the transmission need to come in and out a million times. I think I'm actually gonna pull them back out of the car for a few different reasons. Today's not a NSX build video, so we'll save that for later. Before we open up the 2-post, I wanna get a good idea of exactly where I want it to sit. I'm gonna use the NSX as kind of like a placement guide, I guess you could say. I want ample space for the toolbox, enough space on that side, enough space on this side, but we can't go too far that way. Otherwise, it'll be a pain to get cars on and off the storage lifts. I'm liking that. A good angle so we can get cars in from either door onto the lift, and plenty of space to get these cars out. Let's do it. Let's get that thing opened up and start getting it assembled. So everything is opened up. This is gonna be the hard part. Can I stand this big old thing up by myself? Stay tuned for the answer. Most likely no, but I'm gonna try. A little bit on the heavy side, but we got her done. I'm thinking something like that will do the trick. Now we have a wide orientation and a normal or a narrow orientation. Being that we have a lot of space over here, of course, I'm gonna go wide. I got way ahead of myself. I should have not stood these things up yet. I need to put them back on the ground and do a bunch of work on each post before they're stood up. I don't like putting them down. Going up seems more safe. I did not like that at all. I hope Bobby's not watching this video. So they say to do a bunch of work while these are on the ground. One of them being installing this little locking mechanism, but funny enough, those are already installed. It also does say to put the equalizing cables on while they're on the ground. Of course you don't need to, so I probably won't bother putting that one on the ground. But now that this is on the ground, let's go ahead and run this cable. As you can see, there are two different ends on the cable. Well, two different, I guess, buttons or stop points. That would be for the narrow stance of your lift. And if you're going wide like I am, you'd use this one here. Okay, back up the post goes. There's absolutely no need to pull them down. So if you did what I did and set them down too soon, do not bother putting them back down, because all you really need to do is install the cable, which is very simple to do later on, provided you have a tall and a flatter or a scissor lift. So I have the posts exactly where they need to sit. I did a bunch of measuring just to ensure that everything is going to be perfect. I am going to go ahead and install the top arm, which connects the two posts. I'm going to get this on, get it all bolted down before I go ahead and drill and anchor the post to the concrete. Forgot to turn my camera on, but the top brace is installed. This is not going to get any more perfect. I've checked and remeasured everything 20 times now. We are ready to drill into the concrete. This concrete in the shop is 6 inches deep. In the instruction guide, it shows to drill using the base plates as a guide, drill each hole 4 inches deep. So I'm going to mark 4 inches on our bit here, which is the piece of tape, and knock out every one of these holes. 3 minutes later, our first anchor is installed. Now we're going to get all of them installed, and then we torque it to, I think it was 85 foot-pounds. All of the anchors are now installed on both sides. Now it's on to little things. We have the tension cables, hydraulic system, that top little stop bar in case you lift a vehicle too high, of course the arms, and the pump. And then we need to have someone come in and wire this to the panel. This isn't like the 4 posts where we can just plug into 110. This is 220. So this needs to be wired all the way to the panel over there. All right, day 2 of installing the 2-post lift. In order to get this cable on, the power side post, we just need to jack this up. I'll probably put a jack stand under there. That would hurt if it fell. As soon as this is out of the way, we need to pull off the little roller and slide the cable down through, goes around the roller, comes back up and connects inside there. I have both cables halfway installed. Let's go ahead and finish them up. So this end, the threaded end, is gonna run all the way up the post, go around that roller right there, travel all the way over, hit that roller right there, come down, and the threaded end goes in right here. You put the nuts on the backside. One last thing for us to do before the electrician comes out and wires this thing in. There are I believe six hydraulic hoses that we need to run. I just got the pump mounted, and this is the final thing that I can do. Everything else is done. We gotta put those on, but those minor details. Let's get all the hydraulic lines ran. As always, this kind of stuff takes way longer than I anticipate, but it is fully plumbed, it is fully wired, and we are ready to do our first test. Let's get a girl on the lift and see how this goes. What's up, buddy? Watch out for the dog.
What's that?
Watch out for the dog. Hey, Piston. Hey.
I don't want no trouble.
Hey. Stay here, buddy. Hey, fine. Oh yeah, no problem. If I walked into a shop, just some random shop, popped in and saw this dude staring at me, I probably would stop in my tracks. He's a good boy. Thank you for protecting the shop. All right, well, the NSX is on the lift. There's so many cool little features that I'm just stoked with on this lift versus the old one. One of the main ones is how the arms lock in. When the lift is fully on the ground, you can swivel these however you want, but as soon as you lift it up, these cups lock it in place. So that feels just much more sturdy. As you can see, we have a ton of space for opening the doors, which that was always a problem with the lift that was in the other shop. This thing holds more weight. It is much taller. Overall, she is just much more beefy. That is one cool sight. Bend pack lift here, two bend pack 4-post lifts over there. The shop is coming together. Another cool thing, it has two locking mechanisms. So we have to release this lock here and hold down on this. As you can see, if we hold down on that and we don't release that, it won't go down. Little things like that just makes this lift feel a whole lot more safe. In the past, I always saw people buying the bend pack lifts. And being honest, I just thought it was kind of like a fad because there's so many different brands. But man, after assembling 3 of these bend pack lifts, I can see why people keep buying them. They are so nice. I feel like the shop is finally at the point where we can actually like really start to get back to work. So over here, it's all complete. We have a car there, 2 cars there, 2 cars there, 2 cars there. Again, I was hoping to fit 8 cars on this wall, which I could have done if I had another 4-post, but 7 cars there is plenty. And then circling around over here, storage for a car there. I'll probably just put like whatever I drive that day there. And then we have the M3 here and the NSX up there. Now, if I needed, I could store a car here, but I don't really want to. And the reason for that is I just don't want to completely clutter up the shop like I did in the last space. Now, of course, this is double the space, but man, it already feels like it's small because it's so full of stuff. So all the lifts are finally 100% complete. I really want to bolt these 4-posts down. It's a little bit sketchy in my opinion. I know I said in the install video that it's not required, and it's not required. As you can see, we have cars on the 4-posts and they're not falling over. But quite frankly, when you're lifting up a car and it's not bolted down, the posts kind of wobble and it's very, very hairy. I have a feeling I'm gonna have some pretty bad dreams about these things collapsing and destroying cars. But unfortunately, I'm not allowed to in this space, so it is what it is. The rest of the day, I'm going to be focusing on this car. This is Bobby's Evo 10, and man, just like her Type R, this thing has been unfortunately neglected. It has not been cleaned since its new paint job, where we had this thing completely stripped down to a bare shell. And on top of that, we put a brand new motor in the car at the same time. Man, this is embarrassing to say, but I haven't even drained out the initial oil from that new motor. Usually I'll change it at 50 miles, but right after we put this motor in, I put maybe 40, 50 miles on the car. We then got married in Hawaii and it just kind of went on the back burner. So today it's going to get fully cleaned. I need to do a bunch of maintenance, change the oil, make sure there's actually coolant in it and not water, things like that, because this is one of the nicest cars that we own. It's pretty similar to the Yellow 8, not a full-on restoration like the Yellow 8 was, but it's close. Fully resprayed, fully built motor and transmission, has everything there to make mid 800s horsepower. It is by far the nicest Evo 10 that we own. We have 3 currently, and this thing puts, especially mine, my OG Evo 10 to shame with how much detail of work we've put into it. We just need to finish the car. But let's pull her outside and get it cleaned up. Also, Bobby wants different wheels. She wants, believe it or not, she wants the same wheels that I put on the Yellow 8. So these are the CE28 SLs. She wants them in bronze. Now there's the beautiful color that this car was painted. Java Black Pearl. Man, that looks good. I'm jealous. All right, let's run to the store. We need an oil and a filter. Get old girl on the lift. I should probably cut the filter that's on the car just to make sure that there's no gunk from our brand new motor. Man, I really need a better system for getting cars, lowered cars, or cars with like Vera skirts on the lift. Using those stupid boards, it's like a 20-minute ordeal every time. There's only one thing scarier than a first start on a brand new motor, and that is the first cut, first oil filter cut on your brand new motor. There's always 2 things that I look at on a filter cut. I just like to peel back the feathers, the paper feathers, make sure there's no funny stuff, funny business going on. Now, once again, it's a brand new motor, so there's gonna be a little bit of stuff here and there. Secondly, I like to take this, dump it almost all the way out, and see if we have anything floating around. We do. Little micro jimmies. Nothing to be worried about. My favorite feature of the new lift. When you go up, with the old lift, I'd have to go to each corner and pull like a hook 4 times. With this, there's none of that goofy business. Hold that down, hold this down, and you're done. The only bad part is you can't go on your phone and scroll Instagram reels as you're lowering your car, because it always takes a minute. There's 2 oils that I always like to stick with. It depends on the car. Either Valvoline VR1, 1030 or 2050, depending on the build, or Pen Grade. I really like Pen Grade oil as well. The only problem with Pen Grade is you can't get it locally, so you have to order it in. So I tend to go the VR1 route because I can get it at O'Reilly's. Both great oils. On this car, we run 2050 VR1. All right, oil change is done. car's cleaned. Those were the main things I needed to accomplish. There's a whole slew of other goodies or things that I need to do to the car, but today's Sunday. Quite frankly, I'm not supposed to even be here today. I'm supposed to be relaxing at home. That's my new rule. So we can save the other shenanigans for a different day. We do desperately need to get this thing on the dyno. It runs great. It's on a nice base map, but man, I'm excited to feel the power that this built motor with a 6.4 puts out. I'm guessing 830, 820, 830 is probably what she'll make. On pump gas, we can't go nearly as much as we would with a say a different motor out of a different car. I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a very high compression build, and it's good for ethanol, but on pump gas you can't run nearly as much boost because you start to run into detonation issues. It's great for ethanol, like I said. I think it's an 11.5 to 1 motor. It's something like that. It's a very high comp motor, so it's going to be sick on ethanol. Pump gas, it'll probably make like 500 and leave her there. All right, my friends, that is a wrap for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed. And if you want to pick up this very, very beautiful bend pack lift that we installed, I'll go ahead and link it down below. It's well worth the money. I've gone the cheaper option in the past, as you guys know, but man, spending the extra money to get a lift that's going to last you forever like this, it's so much, it makes more sense. Yeah, you spend more money up front, but then you don't have to rebuy it later on like I did.